It was midnight, the kind of quiet hour where the world holds its breath. My town's a sleepy dot on the map, surrounded by endless woods and fields. I took my usual route home, a 2-lane road flanked by a cornfield on one side and thick woods on the other. The air was warm, sticky, midsummer clinging to every inch of skin. My convertible top was down, the radio low. When it happened, a scream split the night. Not a yelp or a shout, but a blood-curdling wail. It clawed at my ribs, freezing me in place, left, right. I couldn't tell where it came from. The sound hung there, vibrating like a plucked wire. My heart hammered. I slammed on the brakes, tires screeching, and rolled down the window. Silence. Then, a whimper.
Help!
I grabbed the baton from my back seat, an old habit from my security guard days, and stepped onto the gravel shoulder. The corn rustled dryly beside me, but the woods were still. Another scream, clearer this time.
Please help me!
It was definitely from the trees. I walked toward the tree line, my breath fogging in the cool air. "Who's out there?" I called. The woman answered immediately, her voice raw.
Please help me!
I plunged into the woods, branches snagging my jacket, the ground sloping downward. "Keep screaming," I shouted. "I need to know where you are." She complied, her cries echoing every 10 seconds. But something was wrong. No matter how deep I went, her voice stayed the same distance away, like a radio on loop. My pulse quickened. I stopped, listening. The screams came again, but this time, they seemed to shift. Behind me, I spun around. Nothing but shadows, thick as tar. Another scream, and I realized the sound wasn't moving. I was. Panic clawed at my throat. This wasn't right. Something about those screams felt unnatural. They weren't leading me to her. They were luring me deeper, and suddenly, I knew I had to get out. I turned and sprinted, tripping over roots, the baton clattering to the ground. The screams followed, always the same volume, always the same plea. Branches whipped at my face, the darkness closing in around me. By the time I'd reached my car, my hands were shaking so badly, I could barely insert the key. I peeled out, tires spinning, and didn't stop until I hit the highway. The next morning, I called 911. The operator's voice was calm, clinical. "We'll send someone out," she said, but I heard the doubt in her tone. A week later, the news broke. A woman's body found in the woods, late 30s, cause of death undetermined. No signs of struggle, no wounds, just her, lying face down in a clearing, as if she'd collapsed mid-scream. The report mentioned the location, the same stretch of woods where a local reported hearing cries for help last week. I froze. The coordinates matched the spot where I'd stood, listening to the screams that never grew closer. They ruled it accidental, a heart attack maybe, or heat stroke. But I know what I heard. Those screams weren't human. They weren't even real. Not anymore. Whatever or whoever they belonged to, it wasn't trying to save her. It was trying to trap me. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear it, a faint wail, riding the wind from the cornfield, like the woods are replaying a tape. And when I drive past that road now, my windows stay up, the radio blaring, because the silence is thicker than any scream.